allow the two
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay.
She
Off your mind.
like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, na 500,000 they go sama us, call am hate speech. But fear not, Mayegun don come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people wey dey spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one na dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. And in dey touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be dey holla say dem want the power. Chai, dem be promise us say we go get light and power. Dem hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Person wey dey do evil no wan make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too dey talk. He too dey talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Poor man pikin, dey the street, dey hawk. Still them talk, say, make we no talk. But thank God, say, Mayegun don come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun diary, diary politico.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Mayegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn làjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn làjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn làjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Hello there. I know that the notification for Mayegun's program is quite shite right now, and it is deliberate. So to those of you who probably searched or you got your own notification before you joined, just do us that favor, okay? Like the broadcast. So I'm going to just use this maybe next hour, right? To just give what is more or less like an update. And then, yeah, we'll see if we are going to call it a night early enough. So welcome to the Temple of Truth this hour. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun live. Still same. So tonight we are starting with, or we are kicking off with the news report that got circulated in Nigeria since morning until later this evening, when it became obvious that it was a misleading sort of like news. So I decided to add that to our charter this evening, because we've been following their actions and their inactions and what have you, their groupings, their meetings, nocturnal meetings here and there, in their effort in what they call the coming together of the opposition in a coalition to remove Tinubu in 2027. How that is going to play out is yet to be decided, but the players are already like grouping, here and there. So since the coalition guys came together that they will be using the ADC as their platform to face Koolu in 2027, immediately the party became known, their problem started. Starting with some members who felt like give them that benefit of the doubt. Okay, so they felt like the characters that are coming to their party are more or less like the hijackers whose only plan of using the party, right, is just to hijack power. And the former owner, or let me say the owner of the party, the person who started, the founder, right, who cut the deal with Atiku and others, right, signed it off, more or less like a buyout. So other members of the party, like the former governor in Gombe, someone called, Ebunu Gombe or something, and then the former presidential candidate of the party, the two of them have been laying claim to the leadership of the party if their former leader or the founder probably resigned and sold out. So that has now led to court case, as expected, but court cases. Kashiku has his own case against this David Mark Aregbesola Kabiru as their national secretary, right? And there is another one by this Mr. Gombe from Gombe. Okay, so the news broke this morning, and it was that a court had ruled that David Marco Aregbe should stop parading themselves as the national officers of or leaders of the party, because they were never democratically elected. They were just imposed. And the platform or the medium that released the news was the TVC. Should have been suspicious. Well, after that, the spokesperson for their party, his name is Bolaji Abdullahi, he came out and he said, no, in fact, the court rejected the proposal of, invalidating, their appointments, so to say. But here is a copy of that their court, by the way, or the court order, right? So the court order is different from the plaintiff's prayer, according to what you have on your screen, right? So Mr. Nafiu Bala Gumbi is the plaintiff. And of course, ADC, Mark, Aregbe, INEC, and others, right? And Ralph Nwosu is the founder. So they are all put together in the case, as a defendant or respondent. So Ralph Nwosu was the one who ceded his control of the party to David Mark and Aregbe in the the belief that they are going to form a coalition that will then choose a candidate that all of them will rally behind in chasing Tinubu. So Mr. Gombe's prayer, like an interim order, as requested, and what was later granted. So the prayers and the order, or should I say it is hereby ordered as follows. So now the ADC came out and said, no. There is no judgment that, delegitimize them whatsoever. In fact, it was an order that says every party should be present in court on a particular day to determine if they are going to grant the prayer of Mr. Gumbi. Now, don't forget that majority of the oppositions in Nigeria believes that, well, to some extent, they believe that every crisis in their party, in their group, right, is orchestrated and being kind of like funded by the external factor. And that external factor is a Koolu. So yesterday, Abdullahi was with Sheung, on politics today. He had this to say first about their court case, then to the next one.
The coalition says it was set to rescue the country from collapse and rebuild its democracy. Let's now get to talk about this. I'm being joined on the program by the spokesperson of the ADC, Malam Balaji Abdullahi. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
What does this mean for the David Mark-led ADC?
Of course, it means that I don't know what you mean when you say David Mark-led ADC. Why you are not asking me what does it mean for ADC? You say what does it mean for David Mark-led ADC? As if there is another ADC.
Yeah, well, there's been a contention. You were waiting for this to happen as a confirmation.
Yeah.
Now that this has happened, there's still people who are contesting whether or not David Mark.
When you say what now happens to ADC, then I can answer you. But when you say what happens to David Mark-led ADC, and I answer you, I'm inadvertently admitting that there is another ADC or there's another leadership.
But of course, you are aware that there are other people who are contesting. Dumedi is in court. Honorable Lekabegi, there are those who are saying, no, we cannot. You have not come to the party in the right way.
We're not aware that anybody is in court against ADC. At this moment, we're not aware. You see, what we have found is that people hold press conferences and make claims and make threats, but in the end, because they know the hollowness of their standing, they know they cannot follow it through. As far as we are concerned in ADC, we are not aware of any case, any legal case, any case against the ADC as I talk to you. So what we have is the administrative process, the completion of the administrative process of changing the leadership of the ADC from where we're coming from to where we are to, from where we want to be.
But he's lying because they are actually in court. They have their own lawyers responding to all these cases. But he had to make it look more or less like not serious, right? One of the fears of people that have been religiously following their political activities and the political players in Nigeria at least for some time now, right? One of their was, what do you call it, fear is the fact that Tifnumbu and his gang, I usually use that word, Tifnumbu and his gang, they tend to have a wider kind of like tentacles, which is laced with all kinds of, stuff to either get people to whip people back on the line or neutralize them politically, like fully. Let me explain what I mean by that. The likes of Abdullahi, Bolaji Abdullahi, right? A career politician himself, would tell a lie, all right, with a bold face to sometimes to dismiss what is really obvious. However, behind all of that, okay, they are also battling with internal, kind of like internal saboteurs, people who are willing and ready to play internal sabotage, to sabotage you from within. And this particular fear, right, is probably like originated from what the likes of Tinubu and gang have pushed. So when you see them come out and say, Tinubu is responsible for the crisis in our party, but hey, no, we don't even have a problem. We don't really have, we don't have any problem. That kind of confusion is synonymous with, these guys, so to say. But leaving that, Bolaji Abdullahi and, and the others, okay, I want to, I kind of like want to believe that they are as brutish as Tinubu can be. And what do I mean by that as well? Normally, if you want to join a political party, right, you have to like join normally and possibly like rise through the ranks. But if you have money, you can jump the progression, like the process, and go straight to the front. But what they believe, right, will be matching to whatever Tinubu and his gang are up to, will be like a total takeover, non-negotiable takeover kind of, sure you get, where they have to be so brutish. Everybody along their path, in this sense, like Tinubu would do, anyone along their path can be considered as collateral damage, the way the whole thing is going. And somehow they will tell you that it is justified if you have an idea of somebody, I mean, the person you are actually dealing with, that is a Koolu. On the other hand as well, they want to make themselves presentable, or should I say they want to present themselves as alternative in all things, whereby, when they talk about democracy, rule of law, and following due process and the rest, if wherever you see lacking in APC, like a one-man show, no, it's not going to be existing in our own group. We want to present ourselves to you as the best alternative to wherever APC is not. As much as it is difficult for a lot of people to believe that. So Balaji Abdullahi, in that same conversation, right, had this to say about why there could be an alternative and why anybody, like anyone who is instituting cases and all that against them, should be considered as enemies of Nigeria, because they are on a rescue mission. We are coming to rescue you, and that is why we renegotiated the entire political structure, because the only way it can work for us, right, is that we need a platform that we are the ones in control of. And being in control of your own sort of like a platform, right, should be 100%. So to them, that seems to have been like, achieved. So any form of opposition to that, right, they want you to see that as an opposition to an effort to rescue you. Like they are presenting themselves that way. I haven't added my own opinion yet, too. Just speaking from what they are doing and what they are saying, okay? Yeah, Abdullah.
We want Nigerians to get to 2027 and ask themselves, has this ruling party improved our lives or made our life worse? And decide whether they want to continue with this ruling party or they want a change. So we want a situation when people want a change, they can look back and see our party as a viable alternative. So this has nothing to do. Most of these governors you mentioned can't. I saw a video yesterday of a state governor that went to a village in a state, and he was met with people saying, "We don't want you," and they started chanting ADC, ADC. If I can send the video to you. So what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter that we have, what we are trying to do has probably not been done in a long time. In 2014, 2015, you have a merger of political parties, and I think it's actually unprecedented. But now we have merger of individuals, and ADC is one party that we're trying to build on the principle of egalitarianism, equal membership. So you will see that when every member feels empowered in their respective position to provide leadership, whether at zonal level or at state level or at ward level, then you begin to see that everybody is committed into delivering the objective of the party. We are not worried about how many officers we are not worried about that.
It's whether or not Nigerians will accept you ahead of 2027.
It's our duty to convince them that we represent the alternative. And that's
it's
what
a question of whether or not Bola Tinubu could be given a chance in 2027 to finish what he started. Or
what has he started?
People could look at the PDP and say, "Oh, we trust you being on the ground for a while."
Those are options. But the most important thing is that when Nigerians look at APC, Nigerians will ask themselves, are we happy with this government? The situation that was created in the country before we came on board was a condition of fait accompli, where Nigeria was gradually becoming a one-party state, that the only option available was the ruling party. Now, you cannot say that 2 months after. What we have done is that we have opened up the political space. Nigerians feel they have. We want Nigerians to.
That's another argument of theirs. That if you take a look at the actions of Tinubu and his agents, right? They are tilting Nigeria towards a one-party state where mushroom political parties, they will exist, right? And they will just be there to struggle for any of the leftover crumb offices or positions. So they will never form majority. So one single party will dominate as long as they want. So this is what they are selling to Nigerians to, like, listen, you are tilting towards a one-party state, and Tinubu is just this close to achieving that. All right. And the way they do their one-party state is not like there will be no existence of other parties that pretended to be, big parties. So what you are going to have is going to be parties that are just appendages of the ruling party. So that's kind of like, I don't know how people probably sees that, because I've not really had I've not really seen any engaging conversation around that. Like, okay, hang on, this is your democracy, right? To protect it simply means that it must be a multi-party democracy, which gives people enough choices, and at the same time, with a free and fair election, instead of a flea and there's something called a flea and fear, not like a free and fair elections. So that's what democracy would have been like multi-party. So everybody can choose wherever they want from any party to represent them. But with Tinubu and his gang, you see the PDP singing on your mandate. You see APGA, you see Labour Party, you see other supposed opposition parties whose job were just to do the checks and balances to keep the government on our toes and keep them responsible to the people. Rather, majority of them ended up joining and singing on your mandate, they shall stand. You get that now? So the argument is plausible, but what really kind of bothers so many is the fact that they would have to re-empower criminals who have had the opportunity, right, to change their lives, but they made their life worse too. So they have packages of sins that many are finding so difficult to like ignore, not to even talk about forgiving. So in these in all of this, some are also believing that no matter how you see it, if you put 1 and 2 or 3 together as things are going right now, it's still pretty much going to work in the favor of Tinubu, because it seems that the schemers, the planners, and they all have different end goals. Not everyone is probably really willing to get rid of APC, because their own terms too is like somebody saying, well, I have to be presidential candidate. If I am not, then I'm not going to be part of this. Do you get that now? So you also have the obedient themselves who are saying, okay, we may kind of pretend that we don't know that you guys are, the real criminals that everybody is trying to get rid of, right? Or we can ignore that if you can make Obi their presidential candidate. And that's why some of them are already saying it is Obi or nothing. So in the long run, right, you have the PDP, you have ADC, and then you have Obi, who is just like the constant factor, constantly kind of like appearing in the entire plans for the Tinubu and his gang. They wouldn't mind Obi, okay, to become estranged with these guys. Don't join them. They just want to use you, blah, blah, blah. Go alone. And at the same time, they wouldn't mind the PDP to also feud someone, ADC feud someone. Everything ends up in the same way. Even if it's going to be like a tiny way of, what do you call it, escape, Tinubu will take it. And somehow that also makes it more interesting in the sense that for those who have seen clips, especially in northern part of Nigeria, where this ADC thing, right, is actually a thing. When I say that, I mean, we have seen videos, we have seen meetings, we have seen, evidence of people already changing from their supposed alliance or allegiance to either PDP or APC, screaming this, their ADC, and that's where they start. So we have seen the APC, Aregbesola, who have taken the violent actions against this same ADC. I'm talking about, organized violence. And then you begin to say, the way the whole thing is actually like going, right? So if the ADC talk and coalition should end up kind of like shocking everybody in a way that, when I say shock everybody, I mean they are expected to probably like break apart by middle of next year, or early next year rather. Because by then, right, it will be obvious that if Atiku is going to, continue to want to be your presidential candidate, or if Obi is going to join their coalition, or if there's not going to be any court order that would have put this entire thing into disarray. So there's so much that is kind of like a brewing in their name. But Dumebika Chukwu, the presidential candidate of their party in 2023, disagrees. Because according to him, these guys are usurpers. They are not ADC. They just want to use their money, their power to push us aside. But we are not being pushed. We are not going to be pushed aside. Dumebio.
Like I say, anytime Bolaji is speaking, Bolaji is a man on the budget, and he has to defend the budget he's collected from people for the publicity of this their vehicle. They do know that they are on borrowed time. Nigerians as a whole know that the David Mark led faction of ADC, that they are on borrowed time. There are several cases in court. what we saw from the INEC chairman yesterday, Mahmoud, was again another irresponsible act from the outgoing chairman of INEC. He's a man who has consistently disobeyed court orders. It's the norm that when you have cases that are in court, that you respect those cases that are in court, and you shouldn't do anything that might affect the outcome of those cases. So knowing that he's a party to several cases in court concerning the ADC, he ought not to have made any pronouncement or taken any action concerning the ADC. But as usual, for an irresponsible person like him, he made a pronouncement. The courts are sitting on our matter with David Mark and Co. Next month, and Nigerians will see.
That's Dumebi Kachuku. He is also in court. And of course, Mahmoud Yakubu recognized David Mark. This was yesterday. Recognized them as the authentic. So part of the questions that people are curious about, especially those who are like political neophytes, right, is that the state in which Nigeria is right now, economically, as well as, can I use defensively too, because of your defense, like security. Anyway, I just did. Should be concerning to everyone enough that, I mean, for preparing for this, their charade or whatever you again, sure you get, like, is that not enough for everyone to just be like, you know what? They need to save this contraption to start with. And all these sort of political bickering and the rest of that, here you get, like, shouldn't even like surface. I don't know how they do it in other African countries. So I've actually seen where, right, oppositions came together. I think you did it in Nigeria too, but just for wrong people, fortunately. Like, opposition will come together, bury all their differences, right, in order to be able to pull a weight that will challenge the incumbent. Doesn't mean that they succeed all the time, but I never really get to witness all these kinds of court cases and all that. In the long run, sure you get, it makes the type of politics they play in that contraption pretty much like confusing. Not for me, it's not confusing. We call it a selfish sort of like a politics. It's never about Nigeria, So, and it's also kind of like complicated too. The complication part is that you can't deny, the shady characters, right, who are also going to be coming together to say they want to rescue you. That makes it even like, it's not complicated. It makes it more disgraceful, like in a country of over 200 million people, and the only people that could pull or have the resources, right, to topple government, change governments, if they choose to, are the active and semi-active criminals. They are the ones who have the resources. So at the end of the day, it is actually exhausting too. When you want to sit down and be like, why can't they do this? Why can't they do that? And then you are like, Baba, you are investing your time in hoping that these ones will do the right thing. What is the right thing to do? Is it that just to get Tinubu off and bring in another set of criminals that in another year or two, everybody is going to be having this bias remorse, and then they want to probably then battle that for maybe another 10 years until maybe they have a chance of getting rid of them. So the cycle continues. And others are like, how about you just invest your energy in advocating for starting with a peaceful renegotiation of this contraption and a peaceful breakup of the contraption entirely. Fortunately, right? Majority of us who really, really want that to happen, we possibly don't even have the resources. I remember when I used to, I don't know, maybe because I was just too young to full of imagination, right? So when I arrived at that reality of Nigeria is done for, no matter what you were told about Nigeria, when you were younger, now that you are older, there are so many of them that by now you should have found out yourselves that they were just lies, misleading lies. So it's like living a lie or so. So the moment I came to that conclusion, that reality, right? In my head, I was like, why is it so difficult to sell the idea of everybody staying on their own? I found out why though, right? But I used to ask myself, like, why was it so hard? For example, it's probably like gives you an opportunity to really start all over again, starting with the type of law, type of government you want to actually to govern you, so to say. Like you can start afresh. What is wrong in that? Like turn it off and start it again. When I say turn it off and start it again, it simply means that what exists right now will cease to exist. The corrupt institutions that they have built and sustained for decades, they will die. So, and they will remain dead. So to me, I was like, I could say, I think I've shared this idea with somebody like the African Wahala, and maybe Yomi too. They will remember. So I was like, it shouldn't be that hard. Sit down, we map out what are the resources of, for example, Yoruba land. What are the resources of Yoruba land that we can use what we have to get what we want, and then you can just get, if you can find out this, maybe just one or two Yoruba billionaires, okay, and sell them this idea of them funding the advocacy for the independent Yoruba nation. That would be easy, right? In my head, though. But it wasn't, because what Nigeria is offering them, as much as the way it is arranged, right? They have to remain sort of like loyal to Nigeria, not to their people, not to their tribe or anybody per se. Talking about the supposed well-to-do Nigerians. Like, why are they clinging on to this contraption? Why are they kind of like pumping their billions into the kind of people that continue to impoverish their people, while they also make much money or more money? So I figured that out, and I was like, it is so short-sightedness I mean, it's kind of like a short-sightedness for so many of them. The opportunity that abounds, right, when everybody runs their own affairs, right? Because if you take a look at it this way, the reason why Nigeria remains underdeveloped and divided and poor is not because of lack of human resources or natural resources. It is basically a political arrangement. It is unwritten, and until something breaks it, until you break up this contraption, there is no chance for millions of those who claim to be Nigerians, not in this lifetime. It is political to ensure that out of 36 states in Nigeria, with their uniqueness, their different regions, okay? So they politically, intentionally ensure that there is a part that will lack everything that other parts won't lack. And they kind of like swab it that way, right? That the whole Nigeria, okay, the only two recognized international airports, Abuja and Lagos, which is the middle belt of Nigeria and the southwest Nigeria. Not that they don't have airport in the east and few other places, but building airport is not the only thing. Okay, there must be the government sort of like, approval or push. When they give you license to build the airport, okay, and the real commercial activities, right, comes from the seaports, but you are not allowed to dredge your own water, even if they plan to. You can't do it yourself. So you're not allowed to dredge your water. You're not allowed to develop your own seaport because you can't. You get that now? Politically, it must not be done. It is not that it can't be done. It must not be done. So this kind of shady political arrangement, right, they intentionally deny a part of the country what should have been the true real development, right, to a vested interest in another part. That is political setup. So there is no way they will sit everybody down and say, come, let us discuss this country and ask everybody, where would they rather want to be, on your own or to continue to be part of this Nigeria? There'll be a lot of them that will practically said, no, they would rather be on their own, except if the terms and conditions of this union is renegotiated. In fact, for the first time, is actually set up. And that's what we're saying. So the supposed rich, that's what I found out too. The supposed rich in Nigeria, they have their wealth linked to the criminals in government, past and present. So their loyalty is not to Igbo land, to Yoruba land, to Hausa land, to any land at all. Their loyalty is to those who guarantees their own fair share in the Commonwealth, our Commonwealth. You get that now? So when you see criminal politicians, right, and those who probably are yet to show how criminally minded they are, talk about, rescuing Nigeria in this sense, you wonder and say, well, it looks so complicated. It looks almost like impossible, right? That Nigeria will get out of any of this with these characters, with these guys. It's almost impossible. It is almost impossible. That's where I got mine from. No, Nigeria is not escaping this. Something has to happen. Until that happens, right? Everybody will keep going in that circle and they'll keep holding fake elections. They will tell you anything contrary to that simply means you are declaring war, and they are ready to fight the war. Not an external war, with a war with all of you who are tired of their manipulations and their corruptions, so to say. Well, let's leave that a little bit. They've announced, by the way, right, that the 5% have they not even added that already? Because I remember the time they added this, your 5% telecommunication tax. Yeah, if you make calls, if you use data, and you get to pay 5% on, on your charges or whatever. And people complained at the time, and they were even planning to. They were telling people that they would have been 10%. Is this actually one of the numerous pickpocket policies of Tinubu, by the way? However, some people are saying that maybe because of what is going on in Nepal, right, that Tinubu and his gang, they've now announced to suspend that. So MTN, do you call them MTN, Airtel, Glue, and the rest? They probably will now allow your. So they will allow your data to last a bit now. You remember? A few weeks back, I've had people who have openly complained, like bitterly complained, that this is robbery. They've been robbed of their money. That what they usually pay for this data, I don't know how they calculate, this 10 gig, this 20 gig, used to be so, and it used to last them for so amount of days. But now everything is just like gone, gone, gone because of Tinubu. So they don't want to provoke you yet, because now little thing will spark any form of a protest that could be a big revolution. In France right now, where Tinubu is holidaying or vacationing, right? Their cities are witnessing another eruption of protests, asking Macron to go. You know what I mean? So from France, Tinubu told them to relax it. It's not that they've removed it, they will relax it for a while until the tension kind of like go down. Here you get. And they are also contemplating on maybe holding on that 5% fuel tax as well. So, and they are also planning, right, to do their usual sharing of money in the coming days too. So a lot of people are thinking that maybe that is coming because of what is going on in Nepal. Nepal is far. Kenya was close, and people just were not ready. When they are, it doesn't matter where it is happening. Okay, it will spark, kick off. And there's no amount of those deviation or what have you will likely, quench it. Just saying, because there are so many things going on too. You know, Mele Kiari. Remember when I used to tell you about this guy, a hardened criminal? This guy, right, became the NNPC GMD. Okay, and then they plotted. Suddenly, NNPC became private company. This was supposed to be a publicly owned national oil company of Nigeria, right? They now created a company out of it. The staff of NNPC, they drafted them to go and work for NNPCL. They were doing all these scheme, scam, and all that. But they sold shares. NNPCL no get job. NNPCL is to help Nigeria sell crude oil and collect money, which is also the job of the NNPC as a national oil company. So they duplicated it. They created an NNPCL. And the guy that was appointed as an NNPC GMD, right, is made the chairman of NNPCL. They now created shares for themselves. Yeah. And somehow they sold the shares to themselves as the owner. So what that means is that whenever Nigeria sells crude oil, right, NNPCL, just like Alpha Beta, NNPCL will be the one to monitor the sale and everything. And they will now take their own share. They will take their own cut from that money. That money will now be shared to the people called the shareholders. Shareholders. That's what that criminal created. In the process, they took a loan of over $3.5 billion to refurbish or to revamp. I think that's the fancy word, to revamp the NNPC refineries in Nigeria. It was all scams. It was all fraudulent. They defrauded the whole country. And what did this madman, what did they do? Despite the evidence that if you claim that your refinery is working, how come you are importing so much fuel into the country? And they said that refinery is working doesn't mean that people can import fuel. Do you not know that importation of fuel is what put pressure on your own supposed forex, your dollars and all that, also help to weaken your naira? Was it not your idea that the moment the refinery started working, Nigeria will stop importation of fuel, and in that process, Nigeria will stop spending money on forex to buy dollars in order to import fuel? Why are you importing more? Why are you hiding the truth about the subsidy from the people, right? How come throughout your tenure, you could barely boast of remitting $1 billion to Nigeria? Nigeria sold crude oil for at least 5 years when this guy was the NNPC chairman, right? Nigeria sold crude oil for 5 years. And guess what? They couldn't remit up to $1 billion all those years because of this guy. So they went to take a loan. Okay. And they were supposed to refurbish your refineries, fix the feeding pipelines, the ones that supplies the crude oil to the refineries before it gets refined. I was here, I was asking, as they said, go, see, Mayegun, shame on you. Shame on you, enemy of Nigeria. I don't know why you cannot wish this country better. Eh? Even if you don't like Bukwari, even if you don't like Tifumbu, let us celebrate good thing. Eh? This is a very good thing. I saw Port Harcourt refinery like this. I said, oh my God, Jesus. The Olori Burukus that usually come here to abuse me, as usual, they will disappear once the truth, you know. You remember that time when Emefiole too was asking people that the reason why Nigerian Naira was crashing was because of Aboki Forex. Remember Aboki Forex? Is that not what they call the guy? Aboki Forex. Now online platform where people were buying and trading in Naira and dollars. Emefiole, the central bank governor, granted a press release and said the reason why Nigerian Naira was crashing was because of the Bureau de Change who are selling dollars under the trees in Abuja. Educated people believed him. Ronukus, then they were Buhari idiots, Buhari deans, Buhari dignitaries, the Buhari denotus, the Buhari digatus, the Buhari shukus, the Ngoziaris, the Onekaris, the obedient fools, the sophisticated morons, the humbled slaves, voluntary slaves, Lagos Abobakus, Oshogbo Alimajiris. You know that list now? Oshogbo Alimajiris, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, the ass lickers, the Abrodian Buhari idiots too, the Mumu Madus, the Bele lecturers, the Mumu lecturers, and the entire, Buhari, what do you call it, the Buhari idiot clan. Then they believed they may feel that the reason why Nigerian Naira was crashing was because they were selling it under the trees. So what did they do? They cut off about 100 trees in order to make sure that Nigerian Naira stopped falling. Then Emefiole granted another press and he said, Aboki Forex is the one that is quoting the exchanges online. Remember that time? They say, today's Naira to dollar is now 250 Naira, 300 Naira to dollar, 450 Naira to $1. But central bank economists, led by Emefiole, they blamed Aboki Forex. What did they do? They went on to say they want to arrest him. And Emefiole said, anybody who disagrees with me and they are supporting Aboki Forex, if they want to fight, come outside, let us fight. I was here. I said, na criminal. Today, Emefiole is carrying Tanzania Bible, the biggest Bible in the world today, asking Jesus to be his shield. The people that were giving him order back in then, to the point that Emefiole even wanted to be president of Nigeria under APC. He bought form to run for office. That's how ridiculous he was then. But they defended him. Are you going to listen to this Mayegun? Or you are going to listen to The Economist? Have you seen what the Financial Times said about Nigeria? Have you seen what New York Times? They are saying that the policy is working. They are saying that Emefiole idea is going to, in the future, last, he ended up in Kuje prison by another set of thieves who replaced him. Today, Mele Kyari scammed the entire country. I was a bad person. I've always been a bad person to the Ronukus, the Buhari idiots, the bastards. I've always been. They don't like me, I don't like them. I just want to remind them that it is better we respect that and we stop pretending. Because just this afternoon, right, I saw some of these Ronukus who came on to come and comment on the chat we had this afternoon about Obi of Lagos. And then the next thing was, I saw the few comments. I was like, I don't know what is wrong with this guy. Every time, he will be discussing the tribal this, tribal that. He never. I mean, I used to sit down and enjoy him. I know you are a Ronoku. You've never enjoyed me. Forget it. Because if you are a typical person who listens and watches Mayegun very well, right? I have told you that if the day comes for the destruction of Tinubu, everyone associated with Tinubu, APC, Aregbesola, especially with what they have done to Nigeria and even my own people in the last 10 years, okay? The killings, the kidnappings, and every other cover-up, the gaslighting and the rest. Any day if that day comes for the destruction of Tinubu's wife, Tinubu's political associates, his supporters, and the rest of them, if I don't die, just wake me. I would love to be there. So I don't pretend about that. I've told you that before. So if you are a regular bad idiot, a bastard, a Ronoku or a Ronu Nazi, a Ronu bandit, there's no point in trying to say, I mean, I used to enjoy this guy. You've never enjoyed me. We've never enjoyed ourselves. All this while now. Have you forgotten me? I'm being shaky all the time. You don't understand me. Eh? Like you get. So I don't wish you well. Because most of you don't wish me well too. Those of you who wishes that something happens to me simply because I'm calling out these criminals. There are so many of you that wishes that I should be kidnapped. Some of you want me killed simply because you want to defend a druggie. You wanted to defend a genocidist, Bokuwari. You don't wish me well. So when did that one come? Where did that start? I used to sit down and listen to this guy. I used to, that you are sitting down and listening to me. I mean, you're listening to me. How did that make us pals? We're not pals. So when I talk about Tinubu, when I talk about all these guys, right? Let us be very clear. I want the most horrible things that can happen to the heartless, cold-hearted people like yourselves who support the evil that has pervaded the land. It's just that wishes are not us, so wishes don't change anything. Just like majority of his wishes for me, right? Like you just wanted me to be gone, like don't want to see this face anymore because somehow, this guy is always talking about our leaders. Àwọn leader yín wo àwọn làwọn leader lórí burúkú. Àwọn leader àwọn eṣinṣin. Àwọn leader àwọn kí ló ti ń pè é? Àwọn eṣinṣin àbí àwọn eṣinṣin tó ń jẹ ìgbẹ́ yẹn. Sewage dwellers. Àwọn leader yín. Druggy leading the drugged. What difference, right? So let's be very clear, okay? Mo will know they try to pretend, okay? So I've said this many times, and I'll keep reminding you of that, all right? So, what did Melek Iyari, what did he do? This guy squandered over $3 billion. He bought Meccano generator. They carry Meccano generator go Port Harcourt refinery. They did some rewiring here and there, and they bought some bulbs that they put on the top of the supposed tower in the refinery. This madman imported, what do you call that thing again that they were doing at that time? Like they are like mixing the blend of sulfur plus something to make the diluted, adulterated, fuel that they are selling in Nigeria. And this guy imported fuel from Malta. And they trucked it straight to Port Harcourt. And then they loaded what do you call it, a farm, tank farm, what do they call them? Tank farm. Right? They loaded it and they brought trucks, they brought journalists, they flew them in private jets straight to Port Harcourt so that they could go and report and tell everybody that the Port Harcourt refinery was working. Those who said, no, there's no sign that this thing is working. No. Of course, they turn on the engine, no. Now generator. There's no drop of a crude oil anywhere. Because if you go to the back of the refinery, there's a pipeline that actually serves the refinery. That pipeline is a crude oil pipeline. It was blown off since 2000 and I think it was 2017 or 2016. It's been blown off for years. They haven't fixed it. It's not even part of what they are fixing. Then he came out and he announced that the refinery is working. They did that kind of scamming, just like Nigeria Air. Somebody did the scam on the whole country. He's not in jail right now. But you remember? When I raised the alarm and I spoke about it, I was like, the enemy, the one that, that's seated abroad, is sit abroad. He just, they talk bad about the country. I don't even understand this guy. Why can't you see anything good about your country? How can you see somebody who mismanaged or looted over $3 billion plus himself and his associate? How can you see that and ignore it? And be looking for what is good. Let's go and look for what is good. But Mayegun hates Nigeria. I don't know why this guy hates this country. Is it because you are living abroad? Hey, $3.5 billion. That could build you a new refinery. $3.5 billion can actually build you, right? At least a 100 to 200 megawatt of electricity. 3.5 billion. If they put $3.5 billion power project, right, in Lagos, Lagos will have electricity 24 hours for till the end of time. So do you understand what this actually means, right? A working refinery alone is the power plant. Oh, yeah. Refinery that is working. All those engine, blah, blah, blah. It's the power plant on its own that can, on its own, generate enough power that will serve it and serve the neighboring communities too. It is a sign of a working refinery. That one is not. They said, I mean, no wish Nigeria well. I mean, no, they pray for Nigeria. I mean, no, everything bad thing. You always see bad thing. This morning they released this criminal from prison. He's been away from Nigeria initially, right? If you know this story, right? Initially, he thought Tinubu would renew his tenure so that he can be there for 2 terms of 10 years, because now 5 years you could use as an NPC GMD. But Tinubu is interested in the oil sector too, like everyone before him, if not worse than everyone before him. So he's not going to leave a Kyari there. Since all of them are criminals, it won't take long to get rid of him. So they danced along with Kyari. He was feeling on top of the world. They told him that Tinubu was going to keep him. But the truth of the matter is that, knowing that this guy supervised the stealing of over $3 billion, do you even know what it takes to become a dollar millionaire? Somebody like me, I may never touch $1 million in my life. Because it's a lot of money. A lot of money. No matter how some of these greedy thieves want to make you see money, $1 million is a lot of money. Not talk of 10. And talk of 100. And then talk of $1 billion. Like they just move the money here and there, like it is nothing. How much did they steal? They stole $100 million. Aregbe's money, the total money Aregbe is got to have stolen from Kogi State is $102 million. That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But in Nigeria, they've kind of like normalized it. You get it now? They've normalized it in a way. Neyo, you're not serious. Even if I die today, My life insurance is now up to 300,000 pounds. So if you change that one to dollars, my life insurance is now even up to $400,000. That is if I die. I have to die before my children can touch that kind of money. Yeah. So if I have $1 million right now, hey, oh boy. See, okay. Please don't put that in my head because I'm not even planning to have $1 million. Because Baba, get here, you 1 million. Now person we know they work. A born criminal. We never see $10,000. So we look at it. My friend, $1 million is not much, Joe. It's only $1 million. My we always just $1 million. That's the typical Nigerian. I don't know if you have come across them. Person will never see 10,000 cash in his life. We tell you that you just say how much is $1 million? $1 million is nothing now. Look at this Mayegun. How much is $1 million? $1 million. You are just now $1 million. You can't make look like saying money. That one money. Say Ebuka. Oh, they calm down. $1 million. But you see, if you are from Nigeria, you don't even have to see it because you get to see all the criminals, right? And you are hearing the ridiculous money they are stealing. And somehow, there are Nigerians who are always like, you can just be governor. If I am just, I'm just governor for just 1 month, just receive allocation like that. I'll come, I will the change. They just change them to just send him. Typically because they can only imagine what it takes for people to steal $1 million and be able to sleep. If I have $1 million right now, I don't know. Even though there is this saying in Yoruba, right? They said that if you don't have money, right, you would be kind of like imbibing or, imbibing other people's behavior, sort of like that. It is when you now have money that your real attitude will come out, so to say. But listen, $1 million is a lot of money. So if I have it, number one, I don't know if I'll be sleeping. Get what I mean now? £1 million. Make it pounds. I have £1 million in their bank here. I don't know if I'll be sleeping. Because something will be telling me that what if you wake up tomorrow and your £1 million is now £1? I don't know. Maybe that's why, because to have 1 million, like you have to build it. So when you build fortune over time and you get to that 1 million, it's just going to feel like the first time you made your first 1,000 too. As a motivational speaker, they deceive all of us. So that's what they told me. Motivational speakers. Listen. Let me tell you, money is pretty much like just number. Let me tell you something. The way you make money and the way and manner you manage money. So you build your wealth, you accumulate your wealth. So the first time you get your 100,000 and then you get to your 1 million. So when you get to your 1 million pounds, it's just going to be like the first 1,000 pounds you made. You're right. 1 million up there. Have you actually worked in your life enough to understand what it is? So I don't know how I'm going to be like, but I promise you, I would likely not be sleeping well. Yeah, I'm a Jebu man, so my money can be in somebody's hands, right? And it's kind of complicated, sure you get. And I'm just being honest. I can't tell you how I'm going to probably behave or how is it going to be like. But yeah, 1 million. Now imagine somebody who supervised the stealing of over 3 billion, because you can't spend 3 billion on something and 2 months after you claim that thing has been fixed, they shut it down again. For what? for maintenance. They've shut that refineries. They've shut them down again. I don't even understand. It's like they've shut them down since March or so. You announced that refinery will work in April. You can't do the whole paparazzi, the whole everything. And then you shut it down the week after. Which kind of thing be that? Like $3.5 billion? That's a lot of money. It's only in Nigeria that they make it look like how much is that. Do you know how much the Accountant General of the country stole? 180 billion naira. Are you normal? Oh, my tongue point 3. Okay, see, $1 billion is 1.6 trillion naira. Are you with me? 1.6 trillion naira. Now multiply that by 3. So what are you going to get? 4.8 trillion naira. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. This is the kind of money that when people start breaking them down, they say it will take you 600 years, 800 years. If you are spending a certain amount of money every day to finish that money, plus inflation, everything, it will take you 600 years to finish the money. What kind of greed is that? But they've released him on bail. They've released him on bail. Another one is this guy. Remember that Kuje prison break? Kuje prison break. They said this guy was responsible. So that's a good news though, because yesterday I was it yesterday I was asking that have you ever seen any terrorists being sentenced in Nigeria, right? Well, they've sentenced this one to 15 years in prison. An appeal court in Abuja announced that, a federal high court in Abuja announced the sentencing today. 15 years for prison break. Remember the Fulani terrorists, the Boko Haram terrorists that escaped from Kuje prison? Remember? They said the guy was the one who masterminded it. So he got caught and they've now jailed him. Like Abiru Shokoto. Look at this man. This guy is the governor of Kebbi State. Just in case if you probably don't even know who is their governor there. Now, this guy, as Kebbi governor, ordered the arrest of a journalist that decided to expose the state of the general hospital in one of the communities in the state. Rather than for the government to respond and probably promptly to go on and rescue these people from that flooded hospital, they arrested the journalist. And that became a part of talk on this their morning show on Arise this morning. It's shocking, right?
Well, let's take this story now from Kebbi State. It's an update to a story we brought to you yesterday. In a new report from activist and journalist Dan Bello, the Kebbi State Governor, Dr. Nasiru Idris, is being accused of arresting a journalist, Hassan Maye Waya Kangiwa, who was reported to have made the shocking video showing an elderly man laying on a bed frame without a mattress in a desolate room while receiving treatment at the Kangiwa General Hospital in the state. Well, according to Dan Bello, the journalist had to run from his home due to threats, but is now in police detention. Users on social media have condemned the journalist's detention and are now demanding his immediate release. I mean, I cannot believe this story. Rufai, we took this story yesterday and we were calling for a response. But that dilapidated hospital and why they are subjecting our Nigerians to this sort of hardship. And we're hearing that this man who made the video has been arrested, Rufai.
They will not respond to you or G because there's no leadership accountability. We are running a demonstration of grace. So when citizen journalism comes into place, I reveal such a thing like this, that the governor ought to do something about, they will go and follow the messenger and arrest the messenger and use the same police that are suffering the same scourge of this country to arrest. That's why sometimes I believe in should arrest protest too. because the man, he speaks a lot of facts. That's the exact country we live in. So when you now ask the police, on what did they arrest now? They will say cybercrime charges.
What?
That's why it's...
He didn't say anything.
No, but they will tell you cybercrime charges. They will say
He just showed the
They
video.
will say it's leaking state secrets. In fact, they will quote one act in a draconian military law and put the law there. Because you see, law in this country, they use it to victimize people. It's only in this country that law and courts does not catch rich and elite people. It's only the poor man. Please release that man. Oh.
Yes.
Release that man. We beg you, whoever you are as governor, and quickly attend to this. Because if we look at your state budget now, you will have budget for healthcare, but you can see people. The man is sleeping on bare metal. And that's the country we live. They will say cybercrime. They will fight charges again. You know the next thing they will do now. If we talk too much, the next thing they will do, you go and put charges and rush him to court.
No.
And tell the judges to hurt him. You see, that's why plus judiciary, plus all the systems of government, plus it's a joke we run in this country. And you know what pains me the most?
Yeah.
The same people that call the military bad, that they said they fought against the military, they are the ones in power today. They are doing way worse than what the military did.
The governor was quite active with the teachers' union.
You see life? They are doing way worse than what the military is.
So I haven't seen him in the news lately, and I can't imagine that this is what is bringing him in the news.
In fact,
but we need a response.
In fact, during the military, we had activist judges. People still believe in the judiciary.
Yes.
But today, the same people that the activist judges favor them, we scrutinize and what?
All right.
Time is going.
I'm looking for the journalist. His name is Hassan. We need a report from the Kebbi State Government House, the spokesperson for the governor, because this is what Dan Bell, Hassan Kangiwa. We're demanding a report from the Kebbi State.
Mr. Dangiwa. There's no report that he's been released anyway, but that is the state of, the kind of a country that they want you to keep quiet. The world is watching. Like, this is no longer 60s, 70s, or 80s, not even 90s, right? The world is watching. Like, you can use your propaganda as much as you want, but the reality can't always be denied. You get what I mean? And eventually, of course, it will all pile up, right? You hear that of Natasha too. Yeah, Natasha Putti. It is obvious. I said something about that yesterday as well, right? When she wrote to the clerk of the house to say, well, I'm resuming. My suspension is over. It ended on the 4th of September. So just to officially notify you, the clerk wrote back and said, it's been ordered not to let her return. Now, impunity, disobedience to their own court. There is no other thing that breaks a country than that. People are watching. They are seeing it. They are documenting it. And guess what? It keeps talking in their memory. And as much as a lot of people want to pretend to be suffering from selective amnesia, right? Stockholm syndrome, so to say, there is always something that is going to happen that will trigger the memory back. And then you'll be wondering and say, how come they are this angry? How come they are this raging? It is because they all have what is called the bottled anger, as they are not really free to express themselves, as it should be in a supposed democracy, as it should be. Here is one journalist and a guest talking about the same issue from their own perspectives, right?
I'll begin from your last statement that the constituents, that is the Kogi Central Senatorial Central District, are robbed off of representation. And in fact, if you look at all the actors and actions in this saga so far, what is clear is that the Constitution, being the supreme document in the land, as provided for obviously by Section 1 in the Constitution itself, has been so sidelined and in the interpretation of what position should prevail. The fact that a senatorial district is going to lose representation for that long is supposed to be the fundamental issue that all parties, including the National Assembly, the senator herself, ourselves, the public, and also the judiciary itself to see that all decisions and all actions, and this is what the law provides for anyway, all decisions or all actions are subject to the Constitution. So it is the constitutional provision that should prevail, or the democratic provision that should prevail. If you look at Section 13 of the Constitution, it is clear that all institutions, the State House of Assembly, the National Assembly, the judiciary itself, the executive, are supposed to give life to the Constitution, are supposed to uphold the Constitution. So what is happening so far in terms of the lack of representation of the Kogi constituents is by far the most damning aspect of this case. Now, back to the more specific questions you asked. It is very important to contextualize the power of the clerk of the National Assembly, or rather the clerk of the Senate. If you look at the standing order of the Senate that was amended in 2023, it is clear that his role is limited to taking records, communicating orders, minutes, votes, and proceedings. So for the clerk to come out and claim that he was informed without any attachment of a vote or proceedings by either the Senate leadership or the Senate as a house is already legally defective. So the letter as it is unfortunately incomplete because it does not communicate its authority, and the clerk does not have the authority to take that position. It is also interesting to note that the clerk is also a party in the case anyway. So there need to be a vote or proceedings, and this is what the court has held. It says that it is the minutes and the votes and the proceedings of the legislature that they are going to use in examining whether the exercise of their power has been in line with the Constitution. What people really miss is that the legislature, as an independent arm, has powers to make laws and also to oversee the judiciary and the executive. But in the exercise of that power, by Section 4, subsection 8, they are subject to the courts. So they don't have the parliamentary absolutism that the Senate has been parading all this while. Yes, it is an independent arm, but in the exercise of its power itself, it has to be within constitutional parameters. So even when it comes to their standing orders by Section 60, the Senate cannot go ahead and make a standing order that seeks to undermine the court or undermines the Constitution as much as it has the power and the right to make its standing orders. Okay. So far, if you look at what has happened, the suspension ab initio is unconstitutional. It's not just unconstitutional. The reality is even the standing order only provides for a maximum of 14 days.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So there's no justification whatsoever for a resumption to be denied.
Talking about law in a lawless country seems to be like a joke. I mean, I remember back under Buhari, we used to ask that why are you studying law in a lawless place when your court has been so compromised that they are just an extended branch of the executive? Like, what is that thing that is motivating you to want to be a lawyer in a lawless place? But they say, well, it is still a necessity. People still need a lawyer like they need doctors. Okay. Good luck with that. So there's a report that as the students in Nigeria resumed this week, because of the state of the economy of the country, many children won't be resuming schools as their parents won't be able to afford it. I don't know if the student loan covers secondary. No, it doesn't. I wanted to say if the student loan covers primary and secondary, but they will likely tell you that primary school and secondary school education is free. It is not. And the report is that over 17% of the school-age children who were supposed to return back to school won't be returning because of this, while the enrollment of children into schools, as it is probably expected to, right, has also dwindled enough that more and more children will be out of school in the coming years. So the future is bleak. So Isaac Fayoshe expressed his own disappointment on it. Listen.
Schools resumed on Monday, Another over 17% children have dropped out of school due to lack of fund, due to their parent doesn't have transport to take them to school, due to no uniform money, due to no feeding allowance. Things have gone really, really bad. To hit mama put now, you'll be looking at 4,000 naira. Nigeria is gradually turning to a company, obvious company owned by few people, that they do whatever they like. Look at National Assembly, an elected senator blocking another elected senator from coming into the chamber. Look at my state. My governor, without no road, put about 500 Ekiti on the road with buses to come and be clapping for him in Abuja without development. Picking up another 50 million form to continue on nonsense and underdeveloped. The country is getting really bad. Message from the president, no visit from the presidency. The picture we are seeing is presidency and president enjoying dinner in Paris. The sea finish is getting out of hand. People are poor. Police are on the streets trying to get whatever they can get because their salary is so poor. Their welfare is so poor. The judiciary have been so vulnerable. Now they are building them houses, building them things that they can ordinarily do because they are supposed to be independent. So you can see what is coming out from the temple of justice. Conflicting judgments. Science turning to yahoo yahoo. What a nation. Shame not like this we go the day. This is getting too much. Government do something for the people. This is getting out of hand. This is not nice anymore. Opposition cannot flourish again. You block them. When they are having meeting, they beat them. They went to confirm them at INEC yesterday. Today, there is another court process. Nigeria, why? Schools.
We all know why. Pablo, Escobar, Ebola, T-Pain is your president. You would all have to either live in the world that he is about to foist on you. At least Bokuwari did it. And he escaped. So what stopped Koolu from attempting same? So the whole thing still lies in your hands. It is wherever you take or accept that becomes the norm. And now it has become the norm. Everybody is feeling the brunt. So the longer you keep it, the longer you accept it, the longer it will last. And the longer you are likely going to build a bit of an immune system against it. Like they say, when you push Nigerians into the war, when you push Nigeria to the war, right? Don't expect them to turn back because they have nowhere else to turn to. Rather, the smart Nigerians, they will dig a hole in the wall and enter the hole because somehow that should protect them from that bashing. And with that, they can remain silent. They can remain quiet if it's not touching them. If it won't touch them, no matter how inconvenient their silence is for them, they'll prefer it to confrontation with their oppressors. And most times, they want somebody else to do it. You know? Why don't you come back home and do it? Why can't you come back and lead it? It's like, but it's not going to be original. I'm not the one living in in an unsafe place that I have to possibly get some amulets to tie around for safety, for protection, a fairy, and all of that stuff. No, I'm not. I'm not the one who probably would need, extra prayers and possibly a lot of money to access healthcare. So I wouldn't passionately be protesting like you that lacks all of that. I'm not the one who has to pay for darkness, okay? And at the same time, watch the criminals, fritter away the resources of the land. No, I'm not the one. So it won't make any sense if you are living in that kind of like hell. You probably feel like, no, it's not that bad, which is up to you. Now, imagine if you are really tired and you want something different. The passion, the energy that you're going to put into it, the originality, that is what is still lacking. Okay? But if you're waiting for people to come from abroad to come and lead you to fight for what is right, it's never going to be original. And I think that's the reason why people return back from that same abroad after living there for years to join your politics. And then you would expect them to possibly have learned something. Oh, you've lived abroad for 15 years, for 20 years. Oh, that means you've lived in the society that is normal. There must be something you've learned from there. Okay. They go back to Nigeria and they become even worse than the rogues that they condemn. So there is no point in any of you believing in anybody from abroad to come and lead any fight against your criminal leaders that you praise all the time. It's never going to be original. Just so you should know. Okay? I'm not saying that there are no genuine people who really, really want to. But most of them too won't lead it for you because it will never be original. But there are so many who have so much kind of connected passion enough that you'll be surprised. The moment they see you make the move, they will join you. That one is there too. But see, until when the, until when the oppressed says enough, there is no oppressor, no slave master willingly freed his slaves. Once you remember that, and you are not supposed to be a slave in your country, you're not supposed to be slaves in your country. When criminal politicians treat you like a piece of rag, and you have become so intimidated, so coward that you can't fight back. Do you get what I mean now? So nobody is going to come and do it. Now, they will take advantage of you. And there are those who have been taking that advantage, right? The Bele lecturers, the Momu lecturers, the Momu Madus, the Abrodian, Ronukus and others. They are all looking for the loopholes on how to get their own, share. And that is why some of them will tell you that they love Nigeria they are loving Nigeria from abroad. So they will go to Nigeria, right? Some get kind of like that lucky that they become, an elected politician, so to say. But guess what? At the back of their mind, they have no love for the place. They don't. Because once whatever they are getting from the system is over, they're not going to get any again. That's when they will grab their passports and go back to where they come from. We have seen that happen many times. So to those of you who are in Nigeria, genuinely following what is going on, and you do know how it affects you. So you have nobody to look up to but yourselves. Until then, right? Let us continue to deceive ourselves that the contraption would work. I'm not deceiving myself. I use this like a general term to say, well, let's just pretend, right, that you do know what you're doing. Here is a police officer talking about policemen, chasing everybody to get whatever they can get because the system unleashed them on you. system that recruited them, but at the same time, losing what should have been their own welfare package. The same policemen have nowhere else to turn to, but the same civilians that they are supposed to protect. Dog eat dog. A regular thing. Everyday mental sum in Nigeria. This was Edo today.
Go to beat this girl. Go to beat her. Go to beat her. If you come there, go move.
If you make a more than you go wrong. Any ID blocker, they have one pass. Unless you see, I'm
The police do.
Somebody was asking, now who beat him? You see that car whose bumper was like almost off, right? Is it red or brown and yellow bus? That was supposed to be like the commercial bus. Was occupied by the police who are doing their usual illegal raid. So they hit the guy's car from behind, and then they tried to escape. So the guy drove his car, chased them down, and that happened. It is regular. You know, you could break your mirror if you fail to give them money, right? They can implicate you if you fail to bribe them. This is the society. It's a sad one. And what they fear most is one day when everybody will just must have had enough. Like, we've had enough. Everything ends today. Like they have been doing in Nepal. You know? They unleashed the police on them. The police shot at them, killed 23 people, injured over 340 people. And today, the government that gave the order had resigned. And the guy who gave the order has run away from the country. So there was fear of the APC, Aregbesola, is if that's what happened in 2020 should happen again in Nigeria, there's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance that they won't survive it. Right? There is a chance.
करोडौंको गाडी बास शानदार सवारी बाटो खाली हुनु पर्ने आउँदा तिनको गाडी जनतालाई घोटो उभाउँछन् तातो घाम गाडी आफै राजा भएका छन् राजतन्त्र पालिकामा जानु त्यो हतार पुलिसले रोकी भन्यो फक भिआइपी नचाउन्जेल यही कुरेर बस किन बस्ने आन्दोलनी बाटो हो तिर्या छ
Yes! Yes! कोही पार्टी साडी छैन मोजी अब पार्टी सेनाले समर्पण गरिएको छ
And if you're merely looking at that presidential palace, that's their presidential or prime minister's palace, like the form of your Aso Rock. Do you get what I mean? So you can easily tell that in Nigeria, right? Even a state governor's mansion, right, will beat that one. A state governor's mansion, the one they always renovate with tens of billions of naira every year. When you go into those places, when revolution breaks and people breaks into these government houses, you realize that what they call luxury, corruption in Nepal is actually a child's play to what is going on in Nigeria. But if they continue to treat people the way they are treating them, hoping that this talk of one day will remain just talk, it's never going to happen. Well, by the time it happens, they won't be able to handle it. And that's the mistake the dictators always make. Because it is always about, strong arm, violence and all that. So when the people revolt, when the people protest, the dictators, tyrants, what they know about is to unleash more violence. Because after that, they have no other option. They don't have, the human empathy enough to actually see their citizens as humans that deserved to be listened to. They listen to themselves only. They have their own bubble that they live in until it is too late. Until it is too late. So the Ronokus and others, they want to gaslight you to make you think that whatever condition you are currently in does not deserve you to stage a revolution for something better, because your action is going to destroy the country, as if to say their own action is fixing the country. You get that? So the last part of our chart is latest, not surprising. It is the latest move from Koolu. Remember that we're expecting that even though it's probably not really going to be relevant, I'm talking about Tinubu's criminal record, his files with the FBI. It's done so well, it's paid so much to ensure that not only the American government and the FBI and the rest of them through their court have managed to help sort of like extend the expose, to water it down. That even if they released all of the 40,000 pages of documents about Tinubu, I don't think it's going to make any difference anymore. No? But some of Tinubu, thinks otherwise. He believes that whether they release them now or they release them later, whether it's going to have effect or not, the point is that I don't want them released. They will cause irreparable damages. So who and who? So his lawyers are back in court to stop again, even though the last time they had it adjourned in a way to say, okay, you know what, release it in so time, not now. It is now due. But Koolu is back in court. And his lawyers are saying, no, you can't release all those documents. Even if it is for our own children and children, right? Children's children, right? They need to know about this druggie. If they release it or if they don't, the little we know is actually enough already, right? So, and we will tell it to our own children. Nigeria is a place where they praise and worship criminals, right? They reward them greatly. And that's why when you look at most of those people they call their heroes past, these were criminals that never got prosecuted for their crimes against their people. They are heroes this, heroes that. Tinubu will also be printed in your history by these rogues as one of your heroes, as well as Bokuwari, the murderous Bokuwari, as one of your heroes. But to those who live through them, like now, we owe those children the truth, at least, if not for anything at all, for their own sake, and posterity too. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks so much for stopping by. And thank you for your continuous pushing and liking and all that until we break the barrier of that YouTube algorithm and others. So make sure you like the broadcast, okay? Like it, share it, all right? And join me again the next time. So it's going to be a good night. From here.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary na ibi number one.
bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun diary na ibi number one.
ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary na ibi number one.
Mayegun diary politico.
Mayegun diary na ibi number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun diary na ibi number one.
ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Mayegun diary na ibi number one.
àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dódòdó.
Mayegun diary na ibi number one.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
lórí YouTube.
Mayegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Mayegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Mayegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Mayegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Mayegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Mayegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Mayegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.